What's up, guys? Just kidding, people. Last thing I wanted to do was make a YouTube video, but here I am. I'm not going to ask you to hit the like button or the subscribe button. Last thing I want to do is become a YouTube grifter like everyone else. Please feel free to share this if you find value in it. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. Do not buy, hold, or sell any stock based on my opinions or theories. Always do your own due diligence. These are my opinions and theories, supported by statements of fact, assumptions based on due diligence, and supported by math when possible. Full disclosure, this isn't FUD. I'm not a shill. I hold a sizable position in AMC and APE, well over 20,000 shares of each. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get started. Hey, crash test dummies. This thing has been turned upside down and the rocket's heading straight into the ground, hence the logo. Prior to APE, here's what we know. Retail owns the float. The company has 0 shares. AMC is our kingdom. AA and insiders have been dumping shares all along. Current float, round numbers, 500 million shares. Short interest, 20%, 100 million shares. Any short covering closing theoretically has to be done through us, retail. Adam Aron has been on a whirlwind tour visiting shareholders at AMC locations globally. He's also been tweeting cryptic messages like checkmate, pounce, choke on that, etc., all to build shareholder trust, and there's a reason why. This is our gold, this is our flag. I've dumbed this down as much as I can so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. We own the float equals we own the gold equals we fly our flag. The entity who has the most gold at the end wins and flies their flag. Current market cap for APE consisted solely of our AMC equity, our shares, retail owns the shares, we own the float. Okay? Hence the blue flag with the R on it, which represents retail. Creation of APE and subsequent, the enemy at the gate. Adam Aron announces creation of APE to provide liquidity and for AMC to expose a share count. He creates APE, 5 billion shares total, delivers a dividend to shareholders on a 1-to-1 basis. We know that there were FTDs and subsequent halts after the first week of APE release. Price of APE and AMC are driven down to parity essentially, then APE is driven further to sub $1. AA announces various progressions towards additional revenue streams like Disney, Netflix, popcorn, credit card, etc. He also sells roughly, if you want to call it selling, half of the company's 500 million shares, round numbers, 250 million shares, mostly to Antera, a distressed credit lender, translation, the enemy. 2 days before Christmas, AA drops a bomb on retail, talking some nonsense about Wall Streeters wishing harm on the company. What is a Wall Streeter anyway? He won't even define that, and proposes a conversion of APE to AMC in a 10-to-1 reverse split. Simultaneously, most likely. So what does that look like on our flag and our gold? This is our gold, this is our flag. He announces his fool's gold APE dividend without a shareholder vote. This is a huge red flag. 5 billion shares sit at the top above the market cap here. We have not seen those shares in the market yet, hence our flag has not changed. What is APE actually? Why now? APE, in my opinion, is a Trojan horse. What is a Trojan horse? A person or thing intended secretly to undermine or bring about the downfall of an enemy or an opponent. Question, who are AMC's enemies? Answer, short hedge funds and retail shareholders, yes, us included, who don't vote in accordance with AMC Corp recommendations, quote unquote. What does APE Trojan horse accomplish? Remember when AA asked for shares twice before and shareholders said no? He said he won't ask next time. AMC is the kingdom. Retail currently occupies the kingdom. We own the float. Remember who AMC's enemies are. Once APE is introduced through Trust Me Bro tactics by Adam Aron with no shareholder vote, the war against AMC's enemies officially began. AA has now regained entry into the kingdom under the guise of fighting the common enemy of AMC and retail shareholders, the short hedge funds, but that's not entirely true. So how does Trojan Horse wage war? APE is seemingly 1-to-1 with AMC, but it's really not. APE is actually derived from AMC retail shareholders, not delivered to as expressed initially. Furthermore, AA took a stake for the company from our occupation. If old AMC equals the float, and the float equals market cap, then APE would be expressed as market cap equals AMC minus 2 APE and to APE. Retail shareholders got new APE and new AMC, defined as AMC minus 2 APE. Adam Aron got APE. The float has now effectively been split into 3 buckets, or 3 separate floats if you want to call it that. Retail shareholders hold 2 buckets, and Adam Aron and AMC Corp hold a bucket. This is key. This is our gold, this is our flag. So what happened? Adam Aron, like a thief in the night, rode in on his donkey, opened the gates of the kingdom, and pulled his Trojan horse in without shareholder approval or a vote. He distributed the APE on a 1-to-1 basis to retail, who owns the float, and kept the share for himself. He also hoisted his new flag to represent his new stake of the territory amongst ours. So you see 1/3 of the flag is blue for retail, 1/3 of the flag is red for Adam Aron and AMC Corp, and the middle part of the flag is white because he came under the guise of, I come in peace, I come in the benefit of shareholders, but that's not entirely true here. How does APE wage war? The proposals. Adam Aron wants to convert APE to AMC on a 1-to-1 basis, and then he wants to reverse split AMC once converted at a ratio of 10-to-1. That would mean retail would hold 100 million shares from 1 billion, AMC Corp would hold 50 million shares from 500 million, and AMC Corp would hold 400 million AMC shares in reserves. This action is the gut punch to retail shareholders. The enemy within, Adam Aron, has now, what could and should be considered a hostile action, has taken control of the kingdom. This is our gold, this is our flag. Adam Aron proposes 1-to-1 conversion of APE to AMC, which turns his fool's gold into real gold, and now has effectively diluted our equity to 67%, with the potential to dilute retail all the way to 18%. It's important that you understand this. This is what the breakdown looks like after the 10-to-1 reverse split. APE Trojan Horse, true mission accomplished. What happens if proposals are approved? Remember original reported short interest? 100 million short, 500 million share float, that's 20%. Under the proposals, this now becomes 20 million new short AMC short positions with a 13.33% short interest, which has now been effectively reduced by 33.33%. A 10-to-1 reverse split and 400 million new AMC reserve shares also hides any potential fuckery by the short hedge funds. Why is this important? What does 10-to-1 actually accomplish? It can hide short positions up to 3 times the original float with the new float created, up to 11 times the original float shorted when you combine all shares. It allows AMC Corp to throttle the price action of any run-up while shorts are closing. It also gives the markets the illusion of normal trading volume versus astronomical volume levels that would confirm naked synthetic share existence during any run-up while shorts are closing. Under this scenario, short hedge funds only need 20 million new AMC shares to close their short positions. AMC and friends now have 50 million in hand to help. AMC also has another potential 400 million new AMC shares in reserves at their disposal. Adam Aron has now effectively created a bypass for short hedge funds to escape retail investors altogether who want top dollar for their shares. But Callie Brobear, we know the reported short interest is a lie, right? Answer, do we? We have a CEO who refuses to give us a real share count, meaning shares in existence being held by everyone in this kingdom outside of AMC Corp. This is our gold, this is our flag. Short hedge funds now only need 20 million new AMC shares at the market to close their positions. AMC Corp and friends possess enough, more than enough in this case. Retail shareholder speculation. Reported SI is a lie. Short hedge funds have to close. AMC float has been shorted many times over, as much as 10x. There could be billions of naked synthetic shorts being held by retail. New QSIP numbers forces short hedge funds to force close APE, then close AMC. We don't know for sure if this is true, and we can't verify because the language is vague and the timing of the action itself is confusing, i.e., Does a simultaneous conversion and reverse split 10-to-1 negate closing APE first? If I had to guess, I would say yes. Let's run some scenarios though. Stolen MOAS, let's do some math. We own the float, the company has no shares. AA created APE 1-to-1, but not really. He actually created a 3-to-1 stock split, essentially creating 3 floats, and took a float for himself. It's important that we understand this concept, and that's why I've outlined it the way I have on this slide. As far as the math formulas go, you can pause the slide and take a look, but APE had to be derived from something to determine a value of APE, and this is the formula that derives the value of APE, and I'll show you the math on a later slide. On 8/22, we know that the market cap of AMC was $9 billion because the shares were trading at $18 per share. When we plug the $18 into the formula, we get 18 minus 2 times 6. I use $6 because that's what was reflected in my brokerage account the day I received APE, equals $6. Now the reason why I have $6 in red for AMC Corp is because if AMC chose to sell all 500 million shares the day APE released, they were valued at $6. Here's the math I used to get the $6 per share on the previous slide. What's important to note is we know that the stock is now trading at $4 for AMC, $2 at APE. So if we add those 3 buckets together, we get 8 divided by 3 equals $2.66. This is an important number. Post-conversion and reverse split, that number would become $26.66. This is also a very important number that I want you to keep for later in your mind, and I'll explain why in a minute. Goodwill valuation market cap of AMC is $4.5 billion. It's important that you understand this because we've been here before several times when the stock was trading between $9 and $10 a share. If you take the 500 million old float times $9, you get $4.5 billion. Shorts have effectively shorted the company to the Goodwill valuation market cap value. Now that we have 3 buckets, or 3 times the float, that $9 has to be divided by 3, which is why we're at $3 a share currently. If voted to convert APE to AMC, this is what it would look like and confirms what I said on the previous slide. This is what it would look like after a reverse split after conversion. With 400 million new AMC shares in total, Adam Aron has now taken over reign of the kingdom by holding the power to reduce retail shareholder equity from 67%, used to be 100, to potentially a mere 18%. This means Adam Aron and friends could theoretically absorb 9 times the current float before short hedge funds have to come to retail shareholders for a single share. What this really means is retail might have to compete with Adam Aron and friends during any kind of run. In a worst case scenario, and confirming what many apes believe, the company could theoretically absorb 9x the float without short hedge funds coming to retail for a single share. Prior to this revelation, Adam Aron and friends had 0 skin in the game and created skin in the game with our money and our shares. So let's go back to this number. Why does $26.66 a share matter? In March, AMC was halted slightly above $30, then heavily shorted afterwards until it was well under. In August, most recently, AMC was halted slightly below 30. The APE dividend was announced, and AMC was shorted heavily afterwards until we were at $18 a share before APE launch. It's my theory that short positions above 30 have been closed in the price action between $9 and $30 for the past 12 months, either with real shares or naked synthetic shares. Now that those positions have fully been closed with heavily shorting activity, a lever was needed to grab the short positions from $3 to $30, where short hedge funds got trapped 24 months ago on January 28, 2021. APE is that lever, as we have witnessed firsthand since August 2022, now that the share price is at $3. $26.66, unfortunately, plain and simply, creates a theoretical clear pathway for short hedge funds to close their short positions and gives them a way out. It's my belief that government agencies, short hedge funds, and Adam Aron have all conspired to rob retail shareholders of their MOAS scenario. Adam Aron did not come up with this plan on his own. He's not smart enough. Here's how it works. The bucket theory. Short activity has been constant, continuous all year long, so it's possible and plausible to assume short positions are evenly distributed within each bucket represented here. I created the buckets so that a person could conceptualize and visualize to some extent how I believe short positions will be closed to clean up the ledger. Amount of short positions equals X explained. X can be any number from reported short interest shares short to 11 times the original AMC float of 500 million shares. X can also be expressed as a float, as a means to express how a float shorted multiple times over could be closed. Question: why only 11x the original AMC float of 500 million shares? It's a good question. The answer, quite simply, that's all the shares they created via APE and old AMC. So I'm guessing that's the limit of the shorting activity. Now, if you look in the bucket here on the left, you have the original short hedge fund short positions prior to any conversion that they're trapped in all the way to $3. On the right-hand side would be the new share prices after a 10x reverse split. To cover that short position in middle, which is defined as X, each bucket would be a tenth of that overall short when you add them all together. In the APE to AMC conversion portion of the proposal, this is what the chart would look like on the reported short interest position. Shorts would now be 200 million shares short at 13.33% SI versus 20 prior to APE conversion. This is what it would look like with reported short interest after a 10-to-1 reverse split scenario, which would mean shorts are now short 20 million shares short from 200. Short interest remains the same at 13.33%, and shorts only need 20 million shares to close. This is our gold, this is our flag. Shorts can possibly cover with AMC Corp shares alone at the market. In the reported short interest scenario, short hedge funds only need 20 million shares to close, and AMC Corp and friends have the shares. So in this scenario, we compete with AA and the company to sell shares. So here's the money shot. Here's how I think short hedge funds close their short positions in AMC. Pause the screen if you have to and take a good look at this chart, and I'll go through it with you. So how do shorts close and avoid disaster? Remember 2666? Well, shorts start at the bottom of this chart and they close their $30 short. They also close their $300 short. As price climbs to $60, they close those shorts, and they also close their $270 short position. As price climbs to $90, they close their $90 short positions, and they also close their $240 short position. As price climbs to $120, they close their $120 short positions, and they also close their $210 short positions. As price climbs to $150, they close their $150 short position, and they also close their $180 short position. And finally, at $180, there may be some overlap, and they close out their final positions, and they've fully closed out of their short positions altogether. So how does the math apply with the numbers? When shorts begin to close their positions, at the bottom of the chart, instead of buying 2 million AMC shares in the first bucket, they actually purchase 4 million shares and close their $30 buckets and their $300 bucket. Then they work their way towards the middle until they get parity at 150, 180. Now in the process, short hedge funds under the reported short interest scenario stands to profit $1.5 billion if they close in this fashion. I know, not what you want to hear. AMC Corp raises $2.52 billion in the process, and that's with reported short interest of 20 million shares. In a worst case scenario where 9 times the float is shorted, short hedge funds would stand the profit $33.75 billion potentially. AMC could potentially pocket $56.7 billion. Why I don't think we will see the OG 9X scenario is because they don't want us to see that. I'm showing 2 million shares per bucket. If we were to apply 45 million shares per bucket, the numbers would be outrageous. So if that's a scenario, all we're ever going to see is the 2 million shares per bucket, and the 43 million shares per bucket that's out there, or that may be out there, will be handled in the dark, or the dark pools that we all know and love. So I've laid out a couple scenarios on the following slides to see what the numbers would look like under various scenarios. Let's look at old AMC float is 100% shorted, meaning shorted once over. The new AMC float would be at 66% short interest as a result. Applying the bucket theory to this scenario, here's what the breakdown of share distribution could look like under a shorts covering scenario with 100 million shares short. Here's what the numbers look like: APE to AMC, then reverse split 10-1. With 100 million shares short in this scenario, shorts theoretically don't have to come to retail for any share. Here's a scenario where short hedge funds could close their positions without retail participation whatsoever. This is our goal, this is our flag. In this scenario, shorts can possibly cover with AMC corporate shares alone, bypassing retail altogether. Old AMC float shorted 1.5 times, new AMC float 100% short interest. Bucket theory applied. APE to AMC conversion. Here's what share distribution without company reserves would look like. Prior example, after the 10-1 reverse split after APE to AMC conversion. Shorts closing, again, AMC Corp and friends could bypass retail altogether and deliver the shares needed for shorts to close. This is our gold, this is our flag. Shorts can possibly cover with AMC Corp and retail shareholder shares at the market, or AMC Corp could further dilute from reserves and cover altogether without retail participation. Let's look at the worst case scenario. Old AMC float has been shorted 9 times over. New AMC float short interest would be 300%. Bucket theory applied. APE to AMC conversion only. This is what the chart looks like. Post reverse split. And as you can see here, AMC Corp and friends with reserves hold enough shares to absorb a worst case scenario of 9 times the float shorted. This is our gold, this is our flag. Shorts can possibly close 9 times the original float with AMC Corp and retail shareholder shares at the market, or AMC Corp could fully dilute retail to 18% with all of their reserve shares. This is what the flag would look like then. If AMC Corp decides to fully dilute retail to 50%, shorts could close 4 times the original float shorted. Here's another example of a flag at the 50% diluted for shits and giggles because I was bored. Here's our flag if we're diluted to 40%, which would allow shorts to close 5 times the original float. And lastly, if AMC Corp wants to dilute us to 33% or a mere third of our original shares, shorts can possibly close 6 times the original float of AMC short, which is 3 billion shares. What's important about this flag and all the other ones I showed you prior is AMC had no skin in the game until they created APE, and look at what can happen to us as a result. So where does this leave us? I'm not quite sure. It's all up to Adam Aron at this point, I'm afraid, and those that have colluded to defraud retail investors, if this is accurate. What Adam Aron and Corp have done so far with APE without shareholder approval should in itself be considered a crime and a hostile action. Selling APE for pennies on the dollar afterwards should be considered a serious breach of fiduciary duty as well. I feel a vote will go their way as they secured enough bought votes with the sale of APE shares to control the vote. This should be considered another crime and hostile action as well, as it is ultimately stock fraud manipulation. Question: now he wants to solicit a vote from shareholders? Why now? If I had to guess, I would say it's to avoid future litigation. Adam Aron pounced on the situation all right, exactly when needed to protect his short hedge fund buddies. Choke on that, quote unquote, was Adam Aron cramming APE down our throats without a shareholder vote, and now we've all been choking on it ever since. Adam Aron checkmated all right, retail shareholders that is, with this hostile takeover of our AMC share equity. He literally stole our money to create APE, and now he's going to steal our MOS money as well. Personally, I'm voting no to all current proposals if presented with such. A market event, quote unquote, may be our only hope at this point. Corruption has completely taken over the stock market. Court injunction? Maybe. Class action? Likely. I never trusted Adam Aron. I've said it publicly on Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit since day one. I personally feel Adam Aron has made a deal with the devil and has sold out his retail shareholders to protect the 1%. It's win-win for them, not for retail shareholders. I personally feel Adam Aron is going to screw retail shareholders and ultimately hide behind the corporate filing jargon of disclaimers that, quote unquote, investors could lose all or part of your investment. We'll see, I guess. If this proposed corporate action is all some sort of bluff, I will publicly apologize to Adam Aron and AMC Corp, but I doubt it. Again, personally, I'm voting no to all current proposals if presented with such. Trust your gut. It's your money on the line. How retail investors allow this to play out in the end will define us for the rest of our lives. Thank you for listening. One more thing. I wanted to go back to this chart of how shorts will close their positions, in my opinion, because I wanted to show something here. I talked about this thing kind of maxing out in the middle at 150 to 180 per share, which is funny because that's a number that's been thrown around in the community from time to time over the past 12 to 18 months. Nobody wants to put a price target out there. I'm going to throw my PP on the table right now and say that I don't think we see over $200 a share if this all goes through. Good luck, everybody. I hope this helps.